employment gaps, especially if you're the kind of person who you've been, taking courses here and there, and just want to be able to get a job, you want to be able to land a job. This webinar is for you, and it's not for you alone. I'd also like you to invite your colleague, your network, people you believe that this will be helpful to. Would like for them to join this call as well. It will be great if you can have your network as well also join us this evening. So we have the link in the chat box already. So please just do well to share this link with your friends, with your colleague, your family member, your sister, your brother. I mean, as many people as you can, basically. This would definitely be a session that will help them, practical session that will help them to be able to know what to do after taking trainings, and they are at the point where they need to get a job ASAP. So ensure that you share this link with your friends, your network, and everybody before we get started. All right, thank you so much for doing that. I believe we're going to actually take action on this. Okay, so before we get into what we have for you this evening, we'd just like for you to introduce yourself to us very quickly. We want to know where you're joining us from. We want to be able to meet with you shortly before we get into this conversation this evening. So tell us where you're joining us from. You don't need to tell us your name, of course. We can see your names already boldly written here. So tell us your location, where you're joining us from, and if you are transitioning into tech, maybe you've been looking at a tech career to transition into as well, you can also let us know, and your expectation, basically, what your expectation for today's webinar. I know that we all have seen the webinar title and talked about it as well. So we would still like to hear your expectations. So in the chat box, tell us where you're joining us from. We want to get to know you before we get into what we have for you this evening. So let's do that very quickly. I'll be waiting for us. I'm waiting to see our messages in the chat box. Yes, Adeshola, Charles, Olapule, Adedonson, Osi, Temi, Sydney, Oluwashola, Adiola. Yes, it will be good to have you to read from you. Let's get to read from you. Let's get to know where you are joining us from this evening. And if some of you are also going to be transitioning, or if you're going to be transitioning into tech, maybe you have a tech career in mind, you already know it's cloud, you already know it's DevOps, whichever one, let's get to know as well. Let's make it interactive this evening. So I'm waiting for us while we're doing that as well. If you have any question during the course of this session, I'd like for you to use the Slido. The link is going to be in the chat box very shortly. The link is going to be in the chat box very shortly. So that's the link in the chat box. If you have any question while the conversation is going on, please feel free to use the Slido link to ask your question. If you put it in the chat box, we might not, the speaker might not be able to see it. It's just important that we have it all compiled in a place that is feasible for us to be able to take all of your questions. So please ensure that you use the Slido link to put in your question. Thank you so much, Michelle. I can see your message already. You're joining from Canberra, Australia. Okay, great. Already transitioned, but need a full-time mentorship. Amazing. I believe you are trying to already transition into tech. Thank you so much. Thank you. I believe that this session would also help you. So please ensure that you stay till the end. Let's get to read from more people. That's Omishola. So good to hear from you. Let's get to read from more people before we get into our conversation this evening. I know that it's been a long day, right? Maybe some of us are supposed to be relaxing by now, but you've taken the time out to join us this evening. So let's just participate so that we can get right into what we have for you this evening. Adeshola, I also want to hear from you. Sydney, Temi, Osiola, Diola, Adedotun, Charles. Let's get to hear from you. Let's read from you. Let's read from you before we proceed. We're waiting. Just one person so far. Can we have Can we have more responses? Oh, great. Thank you, Charles. Charles is from England, transitioning into tech. Amazing. Amazing. That's good. Thank you for sharing that with us. Timida is joining from Ibadan or your state, Nigeria. Really want to transition to tech, cloud, security. That's amazing. That's amazing, Timida. That's amazing. I believe that this session is going to help you. It's going to further guide you as well on what the next steps would look like for you. So please ensure that you stay till the end also. All right. I'm still waiting for to read from the rest of us. But without further ado, we don't want to keep you so long. So we're trying to work the time. So we don't want to keep you so long on the call. We have our guests. We have our speaker on the call already. She is the founder of Cloudboosta Academy and also a cloud DevOps professional, right, with one of the big four company. And I'm sure that you really want to stay on the call to hear what she has to talk to us about concerning how you can close the employment gap, especially if you're someone who has been taking courses, attending trainings, and you don't just know how to land that next gig. So write all this evening and would like for you to pay attention. If you have any question, like I mentioned earlier, kindly use the Slido link to put in your question. Okay, I'm just going to take into these two introduction, then I'll be handing over to our speaker for today, Gbemisola to take over. So we have Olakule from Lagos, Nigeria, transitioning to cloud DevOps. Amazing. Thank you, Olakule, for sharing that. That's beautiful. Sydney is joining from Dominica, and I intend to get more clarity regarding the opportunities in this industry. Great. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you so much for everyone who have shared their introductions in the chat box. Thank you. So like I mentioned again, if you have any question, we would put the link again in the chat box so you can pen down your question and then we'll take it while this session is on. So right now, I'm just going to be handing over to our founder and also a cloud DevOps professional who is going to take us through this journey this evening. So please ensure that you stay till the end as well. I'll be handing over to Gbemi to take over from here. Over to you, Gbemi.
Hello everyone. Please can you confirm that you can hear me? I feel like in this virtual day and age, you have to always start by saying, you know what, can you confirm you can hear me? Just to be sure. You don't get to the end of the presentation and nobody can hear you. So please, can I confirm that everyone can hear me? Please give me a thumbs up. Please give me a thumbs up. Amazing. So the next confirmation is, please bear with me. The next confirmation is if you can see me, but you probably won't be able to see me just yet. Okay. Yeah. Can you see me now? Okay, amazing. Thank you for confirming. So, hi everyone. I trust you're doing well. It's always a joy to, have a webinar session. And I am just going to be talking about, just like Ife has said already, just going to be talking about things that you need to look out for when it comes to getting your interview done. So it's good that many of you have already told us where you're from, what you're doing, and I'm just going to share my screen. Please bear with me as I pull that together. Okay, so let's go to the beginning of the presentation. All right, I hope, oh no, actually, I don't think you can see my screen. No, you can't see my screen. Sorry, please 1 second. Sorry, just a moment. Okay, okay, let's give it a moment. Sorry about that. I may need to get somebody. I'm actually using a different device today, so hence the issues. Okay, sorry, just give me a moment. 2 minutes, please. In the meantime, can you tell me your expectations from the webinar? Just one line. What are you expecting? Are you somebody that that has actually done some interviews before, and maybe you feel like, oh, there are some gaps? So if you can just tell me specifics around exactly what you would like to get out of the webinar. Let's do that while I'm trying to sort out my screen sharing. So, can you give me specifics? Specifics. It's a very small group, so specifics. Okay, someone says motivation. All right. You will get that today, don't worry. Okay. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? Is it just motivation? Motivation is good actually. If that's all, then no problem. All right. Is there anything else you would like to get out of the session today? Don't worry, we're here now. Okay, please confirm you can see my screen. Apologies for that. Confirm you can see my screen. I think my video has gone off. All right, sorry. Oh, I can't use my camera while I'm sharing I'm so sorry. The device I'm using is different. So it's saying that I can't turn on my camera as I'm sharing my screen. I'm so sorry about that. So don't worry. My voice will do justice. Right. So thank you. I've seen your comments. You want me to give you some motivation, and you will get that today. Good. So we're going from trainings to interview today. How do you close the employment gap? Right. So for those that don't know me, my name is Gbemisola Ojo, and I have 8 years plus experience in this field. And my vision is to actually train over about 10,000 engineers by 2030. We've trained hundreds of students at Cloudboosta, and I work in one of the big 4 consulting firms globally. So the icon below is showing a number of certifications that I have, in this field. And honestly, I've thoroughly had a good career, which is why I'm very passionate about what we do at Cloudboosta, which I'll tell you about shortly. So now, what are the things that you're going to walk away with today? 3 things before we close. I want you to know why train people stall. I want you to know the moves that close that gap, and also a plan that you can actually start on Monday immediately. At Cloudboosta, will give you practical tips. It's not just, oh, this is what we think is right and everything. We give you practical tips on what you need to do next. So why do train people stall? The real data-backed reason a certificate doesn't just turn into an interview. And then I'll show you moves that actually close the gap. From my experience, I'm going to be sharing as well. I've transitioned jobs a lot, and there are tips that work, and I'm going to share with you today. And of course, we'll go through a plan that you can start immediately. So this conversation is actually for people, you've finished your course, and now you know that you can do the work, but why are you not having interviews? That's the question. Why are you not having interviews? So we're going to talk about that shortly. Okay. So if that stings, and I'm sorry to say that, if that sounds a certain way, or is the reason why you have not started your tech journey, don't worry, you are in the right session, and I'm going to be encouraging you and giving you all the motivation, sorry, that you need today. So now the first myth that I want us to debunk is, so a lot of people will be like, oh, a robot rejects 75% of CVs. I've heard a number of people say that, oh, the reason why I'm not getting in is because, robots is rejecting my CV, blah, 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 and all of that. I want you to know that this is not true. Because, see, even AI is at an early stage of adoption for a lot of recruiters. So a recent recruiter study actually shows no evidence for it. It's actually only about 8% of recruiters that allow software to do auto reject in the first place. And guys, this is just because HR people actually understand that to a large extent, sometimes people actually have the right skills and they have not represented it properly. So they're not just going to, a lot of people are not just going to commit their recruitment journey into the hands of, robots, right? So it's only 8% of recruiters that have actually adopted this whole AI thing. So 8% of recruiters are the ones that auto reject. So what about the remaining 92%? So if someone is telling you that a robot is rejecting 75% of CVs, that is not accurate. It's just not accurate. And the truth is 88% of employers say that qualified people are actually filtered by ATS settings and not skills. And your ATS settings is where your application tracking system comes in, right? It's not exactly the skills, it's actually the tracking system that they have in place. And then there are 6 to 7s, and the first human scan of your CV. So what is exactly happening here? The problem isn't a secret algorithm, its volume and clarity. Recruiters drown in applications and skim. A clear, tailored CV that mirrors the role gets read. A clever, cluttered one gets skipped by a human being. So this is what you should know, right? So it's not necessarily that, oh, let's do algorithm, it's not about that. A lot of recruiters actually go ahead and they read these applications. And I have friends that are HR professionals. They actually spend their time reading. And the funny thing is, I remember when I was at Moonshot last year and people were saying that, oh, there are no jobs, and all of that. I was in a room. I don't know if anybody here was in that session, but somebody just lifted their hand and said, I'm an HR professional. It's not like there are no jobs. People are actually not applying, or people are not taking it seriously. And sometimes they come for jobs and say they're not interested. And everybody was like, oh no. And there was this debate, and other HR professionals stood up in the room and they're like, oh yeah, I'm telling you, there are actually opportunities. So from an HR, if you actually speak to HR professionals, you will be shocked at the things that you will hear. You will hear things like, oh, people, in fact, yes, one of the things that they said was that people don't show up for interviews. Can you imagine? And somebody was like, no, that's not possible. Tell me. And then people started making connections like, if you're actually an HR person, I'm actually looking for this job and all of that. What am I trying to say? The problem is not that there's one secret algorithm somewhere that is just, canceling all the application and is not allowing. Recruiters actually take their time, because see, the mindset that you apply with actually matters. So if you are going in and thinking that, well, I don't have experience, blah, 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 one robot is actually going to just cancel my CV, blah, 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 and all of that, it's going to affect your energy towards it. But I want you to know that there are opportunities out there, and recruiters are checking. They are going through the skills. So you have to be able to package your skills properly in such a way that you're able to communicate what you have in a way that the organization can see it and they're attracted to you. Okay, so where applications actually go, right? Where applications actually go, only job boards take about 180 applicants to make one hire. So for example, if you apply on a cold job board, 180 people apply. About 5 people get a call back. About 2 people get an interview, and 1 person gets hired. Now, if you look at a referral on the other hand, 10 people get nudged, 8 people respond, 6 people apply, 4 people interview, 1 get hired. So referrals are approximately 7% of applicants, but not 40% of the hires. Do you understand? So on a job board, you actually need about 180 applicants to make just 1 hire. So that means that 1 in every 180 person that applies on a job board actually makes it. But with a referral, the case is different. With a referral, the case is different, right? The case is different. About 70%, referrals are about 70% of the applicants, but 40% of the hires. So you can say that referral is looking more in a better direction, in a more positive direction, because with referrals, 70% of applicants actually get referred to those organizations, and they make up 40% of the hires. Do you see? So in a job board, 180 people apply, 1 person gets the job, right? But with referrals, 93% of people are going about, different parts of the job, different parts of the recruitment pipeline. Some people are applying on LinkedIn, some people are doing different code applications. But with a referral, it's 70% of applicants that actually come through, but it makes up 40% of the hire. So you want to make sure that you are going towards more in that direction of referral. So I'll talk more about it shortly. So why does the gap exist? Number 1, a certificate proves that you studied, but not that you can do the job. And that's why in Cloudboosta, one of the things that we always say is that don't say that you're just going to be certified alone. You need to have a combination of your certification and your hands-on experience, right? Another reason why the gap exists is there's no portfolio. So you don't have anything concrete that is showing the real work. And that's why, of course, if you're a Cloudboosta graduate, your journey is different because you have a portfolio. Now, another reason why that gap exists is that there's a CV that lists courses. But ultimately, what recruiters want is outcomes. What they want is outcomes. So if your CV is only showing different courses, oh, I understand S3 buckets, I understand, virtual machines, I understand security on the cloud. They want to know that I built a system that made a company, that company was able to significantly reduce their access to threats, or I was able to fix the vulnerabilities in the system, or I was able to build so amount of storage on the cloud, or I was able to. So they want outcomes, not just I know this, I know this. I have, as a result of my knowledge, 58% of employees were able to do this. 75% of this was able to. So outcomes is what they're looking for. Another reason why that gap exists is there's no network. So if you're applying code, where the odds are the worst, that is another reason. That's why I showed you that statistics earlier about the difference between referral and, when you're doing a code application. Another reason why the gap exists, this one is a big one, guys. If you cannot tell the story, that's why I always say it's that anybody that is in tech, you actually need to think about the fact that you are in sales as well. You are in sales as well. Because you must be able to sell yourself. You must be able to sell your skills. You must be able to sing your own praises. Many of us are from African descent, and in a lot of cases, it looks like it's pride when you begin to sing your own praises and all of that. But no, that's not the case when it comes to you looking for a job. Nobody is going to be able to blow your trumpet as much as you can. So you need to have your brag sheets. You need to be able to tell your story. So that's another reason. Another reason why the gap exists is because there's no clear next step. There's no roadmap. You've just done your training. You don't know exactly what you need to do to get hired. And we're going to tackle that shortly. Okay. Another angle I want you to see from is that why do qualified people get the cuts? Nearly half of rejections happen before your skills are even judged. In an analysis of about 1,000 rejected CVs from qualified people, 43% were cut because of what, guys? Formatting, parsing, arbitrary filters, and not for missing skills. Can you imagine? How can you lose an opportunity simply because of grammar, comprehension, English that we did in secondary school? That should not be the reason. So what does that mean for you? Presentation and positioning, they are not optional extras. They are half of the battle. Honestly, even me too, when I look at some CVs, once I see your CV and I can see 3 different fonts and all sorts of inconsistent font sizes and colors, there's no reason why colors should be on CV, guys. I don't know why in this day and age people still have CV that has color, even if it's blue. There's no reason. Just make it all black. It's a professional document. You shouldn't have more than one font. And your font has to be consistent. The heading has to be consistent. The heading doesn't even have to have a significantly larger font than other parts of the document. Just make it in capital letters. Just make it caps lock and make it bold. And those are your headings. Right? So there's so many little things that we get. And for people that pay a lot of attention to details, imagine as a recruiter, you're already dealing with so many CVs that you're going to look for every excuse to drop people. So imagine people getting rejected. 43% is very large. So I'm pointing out these things so that we can know the areas where we need to begin to adjust. Your packaging, as we say it in Africa, is very, very important. So hiring has shifted. It's not just about, who knows the most. Companies hire the candidate who looks like the lowest risk, the one who shows that they've done the work and can talk about it clearly. Everything that follows builds that person. So it's not about who knows the most, it's about who looks like the lowest risk, who can do the job. So if I can see your CV and I can see multiple fonts, inconsistent font sizes and font types and all of that, if I'm seeing that in your CV, what that tells me automatically is that this person does not pay attention to details. So I already have an impression about you, and that's not a good impression. So if you're in that category, please think about how to make a change. So you need to build proof and not just knowledge. 4 times more interview calls with a visible portfolio of real work. Yes, you get 4 times more interview calls when you have a visible portfolio of real work. So you want to show the work, don't just claim the skill, because ultimately, and that's why I tell people at Cloudboosta, what's the point of learning and knowing all of the skills? It's ultimately for you to be able to get a job. It's for you to be able to demonstrate that the knowledge that I have in cloud can actually add value to your business. So we want to see the work, we want to see the portfolio projects that mirror real production. You want to see a GitHub that tells the story, deployment that you can walk an interview through. You want to say, this is what I've built, right? Rather than, oh, this is what I've learned. So now, what does a CV that survives 7 seconds look like? And this is what I was saying earlier, 6 to 7 seconds of the first scan, people are able to make a decision. What is a CV that survives 7 seconds? Translates learning into outcomes very fast. So you want to start with results. You want to start with 85% of this, 75%. You want to use powerful action words. You want to mirror the exact language on the job board, not verbatim, but you're using synonyms of the language that you see. So by the time you look at your CV and the job and that's why, see guys, when we're applying for jobs, I know that it can be a very Herculean task, there's a lot to do and all of that, but you need to see it as ultimately all you're trying to do is to get that one job. All right. So please, it can be you can be all this is too stressful just to get a job. Please, I mean, you have to. I'm just encouraging you. For those of you that came for encouragement, I'm encouraging you. See, I know when I was trying to settle down in the UK, I've talked about this story 1,000,001 times. I applied to countless jobs over a 1 year period. Over a 1 year. From the day I started my master's in the UK, my CV was ready, because before I came to the UK, I was already speaking to people about how to do the CV, because the formatting is different. So if you just recently relocated to another country, you must understand what that country entails. And for an entire year, even with the level of diligence and I was putting on my CV, I was just getting rejections back to back, back to back. So please, don't be discouraged with the rejection. It's part of the journey. All you need is that one dream job that is going to elevate your financial experience. So my point is that when you're writing your CV, you want to start with results, right? Mirror the exact language of the job and let them look at the job and let them look at it and say, ah, yeah, this is a good match. Let it be clean, single column, machine readable text. And use LinkedIn as a discovery engine, not a CV, because these days they'll say, oh, do you want your CV profile as your CV and all of that? Say no. Put your CV LinkedIn profile there and upload your CV very well formatted, okay? You want to interview like a practitioner. How do you do that? You have to make sure that you're talking about the work the way somebody who does it would. So you want to structure your project stories to hit the point. You want when they say tell me about a time, it has to be a real life scenario. You know, these days we use AI to prepare for, jobs and all of that. You have to make sure that whatever story you're telling is a real life story, which means that you need to put yourself in a real life setting so that you'll be able to naturally tell a real life story, not a made up story. Because sometimes, not even most times, it's to show that you're doing a made up story. So you want to prepare for scenario and whiteboard questions, and you want to show that you understand, production environment and not just theory. Okay, so that's how to interview like a pro. Now, how do you earn referrals? Now, this is important. Remember, I said earlier that 40% of hires actually come for referrals, and that referrals is just 77% of the job applications. So you can imagine that truly, and I've seen this happen many times, that there are lots of roles that are actually filled before they are even posted in the first place. There's so many people that have gotten jobs where they'll just be like, especially in the UK, they'll say that you must have posted the job for 28 days. And so that you can demonstrate to home office that, or so I can demonstrate to job application, bodies that there's no other person that can do the job. So which means that they've already made up their mind and now they've put it out there. So how do you do that? You need to be able to build genuine connections, real connections. How do you build real connections? Go for real life events, Go and network, have natural conversations, speak to people, be friendly. And when you're speaking to people to demonstrate value, so this is something that I find people do. You just come and talk to me, and the next thing is, I'm looking for a job. I've been working for 10 years. So you're not showing yourself as somebody who is, who is contributing value. So you want to come for a person, oh yeah, I'm currently doing this training, because how you present yourself is important. And in a place like, UK, US, Canada, and all of these countries, they're more, you have a more diverse range of people across different nationalities in these nations. And their approach to like the cultural difference, there's a big cultural difference. So if you come and you present yourself the same information of, oh, I've been looking for a job for 6 months, I haven't gotten it. That situation, two people can be describing that situation and be wondering, is it the same situation that described it? Exactly the same situation. Somebody is coming from a negative angle that, oh, I've been applying, nothing is happening, and all of that, and all this negative aura around you. But somebody else is like, what? I've been applying for jobs, but I haven't quite gotten the right one yet. I'll keep going, and we'll see what comes. What happens. I'll see what happens and all of that. The way you present it matters. So somebody that's coming with a lot of negative energy, complaining, the system is bad. Oh, AI keeps rejecting this one, that one. I've done this training, and I've not been able to get. If you're coming with that angle, there's an aura that comes with that kind of negative talk. I'm telling you, if you want to build real connections, you have to see yourself as a positive person, optimistic. You have to think about it. If you have two people that come to you and one person is very negative, the other person is very optimistic, who would you like to work with? Of course, it's the optimistic person. So you want to get referred past the application black hole. You want to be visible where hiring managers look. And the way to do that is for you to build connections. Now, how do you build those connections? Going for events. networking events, you're connecting with people online, you're asking them their real experience. And the first thing where you're connecting with people is not to necessarily tell them that I'm looking for a job. Just get to know them, build that relationship, set up another call 1 month time. Is there any way I can help you? That's another thing I used to talk about many years ago, and I'm talking about it again now. One of the quickest ways to build, to especially when you're dealing with senior level people, one of the quickest ways to really get their heart is to ask if there's anything you can support them with. You think people that high up there don't have projects, or some of them have side activities that they are working on, that there's nobody to push for them. But position yourself that, I'm not working yet. I have some free time, even though I'm doing this training and all of that. Is there any way do you have any project you like to do? Leverage your advantage. You can even meet somebody that is very proud. You notice that they're an ally. They like associating with the Black community. You can tell them, do you have any project you want to do, with the Black community? I am part of this network, part of this, and I can push it. See, at every level, there's always value that you can offer. And this is how you begin to build your network. So when you walk up to a senior level person on LinkedIn, imagine how many people are reaching out, senior people on LinkedIn, managing director of this, senior manager in PwC, this one, that one. Different people are reaching out. But for me, and every single time, if as a senior person that is screening the conversations that are happening, which one do you think will get their attention? When everybody is saying, I'm trying to get in, but somebody says that, you know what, this is me, I'm learning, I'm growing. Is there anything you're working on that I could potentially add value to? Is there anything I can push for you? I have a bit of free time that I can use to imagine who would they give the job. So my point is build the right relationships and add value. Don't say that you don't have value to offer. Even if you've only done training for 4 weeks, that is value. You can add value to somebody. Because, see, I found that some interviews are just casual conversations. At the end of the day, some people will go for interview. At the end of the day, what ends, even though you have to do all this LinkedIn and all of that at the beginning, what ended up the interview was football, mutual connection, so those natural things are very important, and you can only get there where you even have a good, valuable, conversation at the beginning, where passing, okay, this person is not just here to draw, they're here to contribute value. Very, very important. So what is your 40-day plan? Starting on Monday, let's give you the weekend to rest. Days 1 to 10, you want to build proof. So if you don't already have, please have portfolio projects that you can work on. Clean your GitHub and target a particular role. So and if you've done a training already or done any other training, this is for you. Put together, dust all your trainings and put them together. Let your GitHub show your portfolio, right? And then make sure that that's the foundation. You have to have a GitHub profile that is attractive, that demonstrates that projects and all of that. Different people push the project and is working and all of that. Days 11 to 30. So that's starting from 1.5 weeks time. So today is what? Today is June 13th. So we'll give you from 15th of June to 25th of June, you're building proof, right? You're building proof. By the way, 25th of June is a significant day. Anyway, so yeah, you're building proof for those 10 days. And then from 25th of June up until for another 20 days. So that's taking us into the middle of July here. You're getting visible. Rewrite your CV. Rewrite your LinkedIn profile for outcomes. Network with interns. Go for events. Go for meetups. Check on Eventbrite. Check on meetups.com. Events near me. Tech conversations near me. Even if it's just 5 people. I can't even begin to tell you guys the importance of going for events. I've met so many beautiful connections that are still in my network to today just by going for events. Some of you have a completely different background. You're not even in touch with people that you grew up together again and all of that. You need to form new relationships in the new city you're in. So let's say you're in Wolverhampton or you're in Bournemouth or wherever, there's always something happening near you. And if you don't mind, travel to London. We just finished London Tech Week, this week. So events are always going on. There was AWS Summit in April. There are always different things going on. And if you don't want to go for those big ones, check a tech event next to you and network. Go for it. And then 30 days, 31 to 40. So by middle of July to the end of July, we're looking at conversion. So you're preparing for your interview, you're doing your mock runs, you're doing your referral outreach, and you're applying, for roles. So the gap is very, very closable. It just takes the right moves in the right order. Doing it all alone is very hard, right? The proof, the CV, the interviews, the referral, that's exactly what Cloudboosta is built to walk you through. We're not just training, right? We're a bridge across your employment gap. So This is how we support you. If you want to be a part of what we do at Cloudboosta, I've actually given you the framework already. But if you want to join us at Cloudboosta, you need our support. This is how we support you. So what we do is we help you build that proof, right? With us at Cloudboosta, you're working on hands-on projects, you're working on real projects, you're doing group work, we're simulating different environments for you. Interview simulations, we help you with interview simulations and job readiness sessions with our community of cloud DevOps professionals that can guide you on that. We also do your CV and LinkedIn profile review as well. We give you trainings on how to position your LinkedIn profile, like step by step. When our instructors are taking our job readiness session, they will show you their LinkedIn profile and tell you, see, this is actually what I put on the, because every section of your LinkedIn profile matters. From your banner, the image that you're using for your banner at the beginning, you know, your profile picture, your heading, how you introduce yourself, your trail, what did you comment on recently, what post are you liking, all of that is forming your digital footprint, and everything is important. Referrals as well. So we have our recruitment partners, we have our network, which you can be a part of. Okay, the pay is real and it's rising. So the thing about the world of DevOps is that the earlier you get in, the better, because anytime you come in, no matter what, even if you just come in for the training and you're still waiting for a couple of weeks or so to get your job, everything adds up to your experience from the day that you start. But if you don't start, we're losing time. I remember when I got into tech 8 years ago, it seemed like, in fact, for me, it seemed like I was one of the last people to even start you know, within my, because most people, maybe they got a job immediately after you know, school. I graduated 2014, started my career in 2018. Right, of course, because of ASU strike and all of that. Officially, I think we finished January 2015, and before you start youth service, finish and some were already getting jobs even before youth service or after youth service. And I went to do masters, so I officially started my career about 3.5 years after graduation. And for me, I remember in that season, I was feeling like, oh, this is quite late, it's late. People have already started graduate programs and all of that. But guess what? Time will pass. So my point is that if you start today, you won't be looking back in 2028 and feel like, ah, man, you know, time has gone, because you've made a step already. And by 2028, what is happening is that you're saying that you're 2 years in the field, which is more valuable than, oh, I'm just about to get started. So it's very important for you to know that there are opportunities that you can harness in the tech space, particularly in the cloud DevOps space. It's 7% of UK employers are still struggling to hire DevOps talent, and that shortage is your leverage, right? Some people that are in this DevOps field, like, it feels like, oh, maybe they've not gotten jobs and all of that. Some of them is because of the flexibility that they require. Maybe they don't want to go to a different city, or they don't want to be going into work every day, or they're trying to get a specific kind of job in a specific location. But interviews are always there, and job opportunities are right there. The projected global DevOps market by 2034 is $86 billion. You know, DevOps is #1 most in-demand skill in the world, tech skill in the world right now. And it's AI proof. You build your infrastructure that AI literally runs on. So in Cloudboosta, what do we do? Our lessons are live, expert-led, right? You have hands-on training. Our training is built for hiring, and we go beyond graduation to actually, you know, prepare you for the job market. I'm beginning to round up. These are some of the results from our learners. I remember she's now a cloud DevOps engineer. You know, she used to be a nurse, and I remember her journey through Cloudboosta. She took it very seriously. Juggling my work as a nurse in the UK with my training at Cloudboosta was a conscious investment. True that she made in her future, but she wanted more, right? And now she works as DevOps, and she's working as DevOps engineer for a while now. Same with Dorcas, coming from an agri background. Cloudboosta was her first exposure into the world of cloud DevOps, and she was able to land her cloud role after the training. Same, we have Adiola, who started a transition journey as a full-time mom with 3 kids, stretched beyond her comfort zone. Cloudboosta supported her, and now she works as DevOps engineer. Same with Olumide as well, landed his first job after his training with Cloudboosta. We have Tosin as well, found Cloudboosta at the time where she really needed a career upgrade, completed the training, and she's 2 times AWS certified today, excelling in the cloud DevOps field. We also have Bing as well, who came to the UK, did a master's, had to do a training with us at Cloudboosta before he was able to get a job in the UK. So at Cloudboosta, we have 4 pathways, but at the end of the day is one destination, right? So we have the foundational pathway for you, which is the cloud computing pathway. If you're interested, is an 8 weeks pathway. Today is not the day for me to talk about cloud DevOps. I've done many webinars on that, and please be on the lookout. Or check our YouTube channel if you want to know the details of what cloud DevOps really is. But it's a skill that is in high demand, and that's what I've been doing for the last 8 years, and I found it so rewarding, as well as many people are in this field as well. So we have the cloud computing pathway where you learn the AWS fundamentals, you learn about cloud architecture, core DevOps concept, you learn Linux, Bash, and all of this begins to set the foundation for you on your cloud DevOps journey. That is one pathway that you can enroll in, is for 8 weeks. We have the second pathway that builds up on your first foundation pathway, which is the practitioner one. And the practitioner pathway is the advanced DevOps, where you learn Docker, Kubernetes, Terraform, monitoring. Now, these are things that you don't need to have learned about before you enroll. All you need to do is to sign up, and we'll teach you everything from scratch. We also have what we call the platform engineering pathway. It's a specialist track where you now learn more advanced tools within the specialists within the platform engineering space. And then we also have the site reliability engineering pathway, where again the focus is on site reliability and security tools as well. Each pathway is 8 weeks. You stack them for full mastery in 32 weeks. So some people actually go all the way, but our flagship program is for you to do the cloud DevOps and the advanced one. Some of you may be asking, how much does it cost, right? So each pathway costs £1,350 for 8 weeks. There are installment payment plans available. The most popular one that people go for is combining the starter, the foundation pathway, and the practitioner one. So that gives you the cloud DevOps pathway together, which is the second one that says most popular. So it's only for £2,400 for your 16 weeks. And then if you decide to go ahead, which we also recommend, the more skills you learn, the more valuable you are, the more you're able to differentiate yourself in the market. 3 pathways is £3,450, and then 4 pathways completing the 4 pathways full transformation, that is £4,500 instead of £6,000, which would have been the full price. Okay, so it's highly discounted the more you do. Our discount expires on 20th of June. Spaces are strictly limited per cohort. We have just the week to make it sure, because the next cohort is starting in 2 weeks time. So this discount expire next week, but make a decision as soon as possible. It's either you pick one or you go all the way, or you pick 2 or you pick 3, right? However you want. So the webinar offer is a one-time offer. So please make sure it's only for people that have actually attended this webinar, and the discount code to use is JobGap. It applies to any pathway or bundle. Lock it in before the next cohort fills, right? So please make sure the seats are very limited. The seats are very limited. So please make sure job gap, that's all you need to send to any of our WhatsApp numbers. So please, our WhatsApp number will be in the chat box, is also displayed on the screen. If you want to reach out to us, you can reach out. You can enroll on our website, use the code JobGap to make sure that you are able to take advantage of discounts. You can also talk to an advisor. That's our WhatsApp number. And you can also reach out to us via support@cloudboosta.co.uk as well. If you have a business that you want to train with cloud DevOps skills, we are also available to do that. So these are our numbers. If you want to make a payment immediately, please go ahead. 1,350 instead of £1,500. You can speak to any of our advisors. You can scan the QR code, speak to one of our program advisors. Okay, and yeah, we'll see you in the next course. Please, I will help you know that from this conversation, this is showing you that it is doable. You are able to actually learn. You're able to actually, get the kind of opportunity that you want. Or that gap that exists between where you are and getting interviews or even landing a job, it can be filled. It can be filled. You just need to be able to demonstrate value. You need to be able to demonstrate value. You need to make sure that you position yourself properly. You need to be able to sing your praises. You need to be able to actually, and in order for you to demonstrate value, you need to have that value, which is where, working on project comes in, group projects, all of those things that you need to do. So that brings us to the end. I don't know if I have any questions. Actually, if you have any questions, please, we usually use Slido for our questions. Please feel free to ask your question using the Slido link, and then we will take them just now. Any questions at all? Any questions at all? Okay, so please bear with me. Let me just pull out the questions on Slido. Please give me a moment. Okay, I can see you saying thank you. You're welcome. All right. Sorry, I don't know why my device didn't allow me to show my video at the same time. So hope you guys can see me now. All right, let me pull out your questions in the last 5 minutes. But thank you everyone for how long you've spent so far. I am just trying to find your questions. All right, I can see them now. What's the biggest mistakes job seekers make after completing a training program? I love that question. There are lots of things, but one of it is thinking that they're not good enough. Thinking that, oh my God, I don't know if I've learned enough. One thing you need to know is that any training program you've gone for has taken you from a point of not knowing that knowledge at all to actually having some level of knowledge. You cannot be an expert in 6 months or in a year. It's impossible. There's some like law of process. There's some things that you just have to go through the process no matter what. So you thinking that, oh, I'm not good enough, I don't think I've learned a lot of skills. That's one of the mistakes. There are a couple, maybe I'll mention 3. So thinking that you're not good enough, and then that's one. The second one is stalling, thinking that time needs to pass. See, as you're applying for your interviews, you're gaining mastery. In fact, your interviews becomes part of your learning journey. You begin to understand things that recruiters are looking for, right? You begin to understand things that recruiters are looking for, and then that now begins to guide you. Okay, so I hope that helps. Is the employment gap primarily a skills program, preparation, or an information program? It could be everything, really. And that's why we're having a session like this, because you need to understand how jobs happen. A lot of jobs are actually by referral. Like, I can tell you that for free. But the thing is, even if referral happens, you need to be able to demonstrate the skills. So which is why I was talking about how you have to position yourself for referrals and all of that. So sometimes it's a mixture of everything. There's no skills, you haven't positioned yourself, and you don't have the right information that you need to get that job. But imagine if you've gotten the skills, you've positioned yourself, you've built your LinkedIn profile, everything is looking good, and then you're networking as well, you're able to significantly increase your chances. If you're to choose between certification, project, networking, LinkedIn program, and interview preparation, how will you prioritize them? Interesting question. Everything is important. I won't lie to you. Everything is important. Everything is important. But number one, I would say, is you need to work on projects. Project is number one, because so imagine if you don't have a product, what are you selling? So project is number one. Project is number one. Project is number one. After, I'm just attempting, like I've said, everything is important, but let me attempt to prioritize. After project, I'll say the next thing is networking. I'm telling you, the next thing is networking. After networking, this is my personal opinion, by the way, what I'm saying has worked for me. After networking, I will say certifications. No, actually, after networking, I will say LinkedIn presence. After LinkedIn presence, I will say interview preparation, and then I'll also say certifications. But like I said, even though I've prioritized that way, I'm not saying, even as much as I've said certification is also significantly important. So it's like we're dealing with everything on a scale of 1 to 10, and everything is scoring like 10, 9.5, 9, 8.58. That's the kind of ranking we're talking about. Not that certification is scoring 1 over 10. No, all of them are actually still 8 over 10. It's just that if I need to now prioritize it and put a little gap in between. So my point is that first we need to start from making you have the ability to actually market something, the product. Well, that's why I'm saying projects first, right? Then networking, connecting with people. Your LinkedIn presence is part of your networking as well, getting visible. Then, of course, you must be able to prepare well for your interview. Otherwise, you won't get it. Certification is also important. That's why I told you all the certifications I have at the beginning as well. So that also builds a level of credibility and reinforces. But you can talk your way through an interview very well, even without the certification. Trust me, but you should get it as well. I also get it. I also even have another exam coming up this month. So yeah. Can I get job with advanced DevOps alone? alone. Yes, you can. Cloud and advanced. Oh, well, you need to have, if you're saying advanced, I don't know if you're talking, it has to be cloud and advanced DevOps so that you have the right foundation. That's 16 weeks. Advanced DevOps alone, you need to have the right foundation before we even allow you go ahead to do advanced DevOps. So you must have an equivalent of the cloud knowledge. What's the difference between cloud computing and DevOps? So cloud computing in itself is the infrastructure where you build your tech systems, your storage, your database, all of that is built on the cloud. And DevOps is a way of delivering software. So DevOps being run on the cloud, your skills that make up DevOps, that enable DevOps to run on the cloud are the skills that recruiters are looking for, because that is the way that modern software architecture now works. So a mixture of that is very important. So DevOps has to do with tools, tools like containerization. There are many different there are many different concepts within DevOps. One of it is monitoring of observability. One of it is containerization. So all of these different elements are what we've grouped into the different tracks and the different pathways, so that you can learn it, master it before going into something else. And the more of the DevOps tools you master, the more marketable you are in the market. As someone with a background in medicine, if I want to move from training to interview invitations within the next 6 months, what roadmap will you recommend? Good question. I'll just build up on what I've said before. Number one, you need to gain the skills, right? And because you're in medicine, you have to make the sacrifice of being able to put some time into this training. We had the closest we have to medicine. We've had someone from dentistry transition, she got a job. We had someone from physiotherapy as well. We've had a doctor take our training, but it was just more from knowledge. She's still a medical doctor. So if you want to transition, if you're taking the training from perspective of transition, and of which sometimes people just take our training for the knowledge, right? It's not necessarily because you want to transition. So if you're taking it from perspective of wanting to transition, then you need to first of all make out time. So I need to be able to know what 2 or 3 hours you're going to be studying every day for cloud, even in addition to your medical job. You need to come for classes. You need to enroll for a boot camp that gives you a boot camp like Cloudboosta. So for us at Cloudboosta, our trainings are on Saturday, and we give you assignment, give you projects to work on. So you need to build your portfolio. So I would say that the best way to divide 6 months is long, but it's also short, so you have to maximize it well. So you want to make sure that 16 weeks out of that 6 months is dedicated to projects, and then after that you're able to now network. You're doing your LinkedIn, you're preparing for interview, and then you're getting conversant. So all the people that you're working on should be building your lingua. You're able to talk, you're able to defend what you've worked on. You're doing interviews. Even you don't need to wait till the end of your training before you get interview opportunities. You can do it while on the training as well, and we always encourage our students to do the same. So 6 weeks in, you can start talking about it on LinkedIn. The challenge that some people in a different field. Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot. I talked about medical. I forgot to mention that. Yeah, I gave an example of the nurse at the beginning. So anyway, we have an also as transition. I remember one of the things that sometimes people that are from other fields, they're unable to really talk about what they're doing on LinkedIn because they don't want maybe their other doctor people to know that that's their next move. So that's also a tricky area. In that case, we recommend that you have like a Medium page that you're just documenting, and then at some point you publish it. You let people know that, oh yeah, read my Medium, but you're building your track record on that Medium page, and you can keep it private in the meantime. I don't think you can keep your LinkedIn profile private just yet, but you can have a Medium page where I just document your links, part of visibility. You can go for events. Your doctor colleagues or your boss at work will not know that you're going for events if that's your next move. So networking and all of that. So that's what we do at Cloudboosta anyway. We'll give you the robot. I hope you get the gist. So majorly build your project, build your portfolio, make it visible online. If you're unable to go all in terms of visibility, do some level of visibility, prepare for your interview, network, prepare for your certification exam as well, and begin to apply for jobs. What hardware tools do you need to do the course? You need a very good laptop. We have a laptop specification. Please reach out to one of our program advisors. They'll send you the exact laptop specification. Please, our program cannot be done using an iPad or a phone. At the moment, I'm using it. Anyway, so yeah, you can't use an iPad or you can't use a phone. You need a very, very good laptop. Okay. I'm just trying to see if there's any question I've missed. So I had some questions that came in earlier on. Let me just pick one of them. Looking back, what career advice would have saved you the most time and disappointment? Honestly, for me, still, well, I would say that I think let me come out of the whole go for it, don't be scared, you have the skills and all of that, to say that make sure that you are competent and be confident in the fact that competence can be built at any level. All you need is time. There's nothing that you cannot figure out. Honestly, there's nothing that you cannot understand. All you need to do is to spend time on whatever skills you're trying to learn. The brain is very powerful. I don't care what your background is. I don't care what you graduated with at university, third class, you didn't finish university, and I genuinely mean what I'm saying. If you pick a particular subject and you make up your mind that you're going to learn that, so you're going to master it, you're going to be able to do it. So I will say that build competence. Very important, because it helps your confidence, right? And I said that be confident in the fact that competence can be built. I don't even know why I'm saying all these things, but honestly, I mean, it's actually very true. So there's nothing you're trying to learn that you cannot. So rather than trying to just patch up your knowledge and, trying to just do jamo as they say in Nigeria, make sure that you're good. Just line upon line, like build up that knowledge, learn it little by little. If there's something you don't understand, go back, learn it, unpack it, give it time. It's better to spend your time. That's why we have a 32 weeks track, so that you can know that we're not rushing this thing. It takes a while to learn this concept. So take your time, unravel it. You don't understand, come back. Listen multiple times over and over again. You build your competence. By the time you build your competence, you're going for you too. You will know that you know this, and it can be built. There's nobody that is more intelligent than you. God made this brain to be able to. It's just that you need to. It's like muscle. You need to build your brain muscles. And exercises by learning and learning and learning. So do not believe because of maybe past failures or whatever that you can't figure. I don't believe that. You can learn anything. And it can be very good. And I've seen people in the industry who, some of them didn't even have a university degree, and they're unraveling all of this because they've spent a lot of time on it. So that would be my career advice. Please, do we have any other questions? We're just over an hour now. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening. So please stay connected. If you're interested, please reach out to one of our program advisors. Link in the chat box. To reach out to one of our program advisors. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you for listening. Please enjoy the rest of your evening. I'm just trying to see the reason why I was checking. I'm trying to see if there's any questions that I may have missed out. Okay, I don't know. All right. Yes, there is an installment payment plan available. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. It's been a lovely session with you all. I'm very delighted to have spoken to you. Please reach out to one of our program advisors on WhatsApp, and we will be in touch. All right. Please enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Have a good evening. Thank you once again. Bye, everyone. Bye, everyone.